Well, good evening, one and all. Welcome to Super League Raw Weekly. It's a Tuesday night. It's 8 o'clock. It can only mean one thing. In the house, as always, Greg Nixon. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Are you well?
Living the dream, sir. Living the dream. And Mr. Sale, good evening to you.
Good evening. Happy Tuesday, everyone.
Happy Tuesday indeed. Yes, we'll just let everybody settle in, getting them all coming in. A bit late, a few stragglers this evening. Not the usual surge. We'll catch up as we go on. But yeah, happy days. Welcome along to Super League Raw Weekly. Of course, tonight we will be giving away our 2 Challenge Cup final tickets. That's right, Peter Mason with us all the way from Belarus. Robert Hickson in the chat. Paul Boardman also with us. They are slowly but surely coming in. I've not been able to do the share. Craig Rigby's with us as well. Highway to Hell, Reggie. Well, Wicked Stadium. Greg Roach with us. Good quiz last night, boys.
Enjoyed it. Well, until the last 2 questions, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Big apologies to anybody who was confused for some reason. 6 o'clock was on one of the things. Don't know what happened there. Do apologise. We were live at 8, but yeah, we'll get that right for next time. But good quiz. And Anton Roach beat his dad last night. Great win for Anton. He's got himself a Huddersfield Giants towel. Good lad. Well done. In the corner of the screen, you can see there, become a member. QR code, no less. Scan that into your phone. Become a member of Super League Raw. Like I say, a little bit later on tonight, we will be giving away those Challenge Cup tickets. More on that to follow. Right then, chaps, let's get into a bit of news. First and foremost, this little beauty, Willie Peters has signed up to remain at Hull KR. This is great news, Greg, for the Robins fans.
It is absolutely fantastic news for the Hull KR fans. I think there was a little bit of fear that he might have been tempted to go back to the NRL.
Yeah.
But, if he carries on the way he's doing and the team spirit he's got there and the club keeps redeveloping the way it does, I think there could be some silverware around the corner for the Robins sometime soon.
Yeah, they're certainly heading in the right direction, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's a good coach. He seems to have got a good spirit there. I think following on the heels of Tony Smith.
Yeah.
I think Tony Smith turned the club round, and they've gone from strength to strength under Willie Peters. So good luck to them. Good luck to him.
Absolutely. What are your thoughts, Steph?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And for any successful club, stability is key, isn't it? So, and to have that now from a recruitment and retention point of view as well, the players obviously want to play for him. He's done a fantastic job since he's been there, and I'm sure the Robins faithful will be absolutely delighted with that news.
Absolutely. Apologies. I've been a bit. My phone died before we came on air, so I am going to try and save this for people to see. As you would expect, nothing's left to chance on Super League Raw. You expect that. This is why, for me, it was so important that Willie Peters remained at Hull KR. This is the win percentage of coaches in Super League. Now, many people will say, what's Sam Burgess doing there? Look, I agree. He's only been in charge for 11 games. But at the moment, he has got the highest win ratio. That, of course, will change. Matty Pete, 75.3%. But as you can see there, Willie Peters, if we take Burgess out and we go for coaches that have been in there for a year or more, as you can see, he's ranked number 4 behind Matt Peake, Paul Wellens, Adrian Lamb. Those 3 all won silverware in 2023. That is why it was so vitally important, wasn't it, guys, that this guy signed on?
Absolutely, yeah. Like I said, it's key for Hull KR, and I think, as Greg rightly said, they're on the verge of silverware, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Greg, what are you making to that?
I knew he'd been successful. They're pretty good stats.
Yeah.
And when you think, he's ahead of Darryl Powell and how long Darryl Powell's been in Super League for, and regardless of what he did at Warrington, he's been a decent coach in the past, and he's took Castleford to a grand final. Steve McNamara as well. So there's good signs there for the Robins, and if he carries on being successful, they're going to attract more players to want to play for Hull KR. They've already had quite a few high-profile names go to Hull KR as it is, so it's only a good thing for Hull KR, I think, Willie Peters. And as Steph says, it's the consistency and the knowing that there's obviously a project there, and there's going to be around to complete that project, or at least get it well underway. I think is great for Hull KR.
Yeah, when I put this together, pretty surprised to see Paul Rowley so far down that list.
Yeah, because he's done quite a good job, especially at Salford. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's been to Leigh and Toronto before that, which changed it. He's got a really solid record at Salford. But yeah, I was, like I say, really surprised to see him at that end. And Rowan Smith as well, considering he took him to a grand final in his first season, pretty interesting to see that, he's actually behind halfway there.
Who was that? Sorry, mate.
Rowan Smith.
Yeah. Leeds are a funny team, though, aren't they? Because, as I say, I seem to say this every week, and I'm tired of saying it. They kind of start off really, really slow, and they lose more games than they win early doors, and then back end of the season, and Leeds knows what it takes, as do Wigan and Saints.
Yeah,
they know what it takes. That nobody panics if they lose 3 out of the first 4 games or whatever.
Yeah,
at Leeds, because 9 times out of 10 they're there or thereabouts at the end of the season. So yeah, Rowan Smith. I think the form of Leeds hasn't been brilliant under him, if I'm being honest.
Happy days. Andy Bibby, right after he goes. Is he straight in his Andy Bibby? I'll repeat, no one at Warrington would swap Thewlis for Wellesby. Okay, Andy. Okay. Good evening to Dawn Kirkby. She's made up. Very happy indeed that Mully Peters has stayed on. Lee Partington with us. Great to see you. Neil Rennox, that's commitment to Super League Raw. Neil Rennox, he's in all the way from Ibiza, the party capital of the Mediterranean. He's got his glow sticks. He's on his balcony. He's watching Super League Raw. Good lad.
I hope he's got his bucket hat on his whistle.
Absolutely.
The pre-party. Ready for
absolutely, the pre-party. Right, let's move on to the next bit of news that caught my eye. MVP back at it again. Both Tommy Makinson and Liam Horn given a 1-match ban. We discussed this in the final whistle. Greg, you weren't there, so I'll come to you first. Did you see the Makinson or Horn incidents in that game as red cards?
Yeah. Yes, I did. And neither. I don't think either were red cards, were they?
Well, we didn't think so, no.
No. Yeah, a bit. Got some word. I don't know what the word is to describe that. Nonsensical, I think. I just don't understand how either of them could be red cards.
No.
Making some perhaps a yellow because it is a bit reckless, but he's wrapping his arms.
Yeah.
And to get, I think it's maybe a case of the MVP just backing up the ref because of the flack they've got from outside of the game for that, outside from fans. I think maybe it's a case of the MVP just backing the ref up. I don't know. The thing is
there though, Steph. We know that the reserve games are going to knock these two off anyway. It's a bit of a nonsense, really. So for me, either the loophole has got to change, or if they really do mean business on this, within a 2-match, not a 1.
Yeah, I think it's a double mistake, this one. I don't think there should have been match bans. And then you've got the ludicrous situation where you can serve it under a reserve game. So where the punishment that is for, them anyway, which is probably justice in some respects that they can do that. But
I'm just thinking maybe they've done it deliberately to back the ref and to know that they're not going to miss a Super League game.
Potentially.
Who knows how they work, the masterminds on the MVP.
Who knows?
Reggie, it's what we want.
Say again.
Dawn Baker's in the house. Dawn Baker's in the house. Nicola Burtonwood, she's in the house. Well, good evening to both of our Super League Raw members. Great to have your company this evening. We've started to get our usual numbers coming in during the live show. Great to have you all. Get your comments in the chat. We'll give you shout outs along the way. We like a bit of interaction here on Super League Raw. As you can see there in the top corner, it does state become a member. Tonight we are giving away Challenge Cup tickets to our membership and this is how you can become a member and what you get.
Are inviting you to become part of the fastest growing online community in Rugby League. Your contribution will enable us to continue to improve our current programmes and allow us to develop more so that you can enjoy Rugby League 7 days a week. Our 3 membership tiers provide everyone with an opportunity to create new friendships and experiences with like-minded Rugby League enthusiasts. 18th man membership. You will be supporting the work we do and contribute to our ongoing development. You will be entered into every prize draw as well as our monthly online quizzes. You will also have the opportunity of winning a season ticket by entering a team into the Super League Raw Mini Fantasy League. And you will also get a car window sticker to show that you're a part of this community. 6 Again members. You will have increased entries into our prize draws and fantasy leagues. You will have increased shout-outs during Super League Raw every single week. You will have access to the Super League Raw WhatsApp group where you can talk with other members every single day. You will have 1 week advanced screening of our latest In Conversation With, and you will also have 3 invitations to the Final Whistle podcast recordings where you can have your say on the week's action. You will also be invited to a pre-game drink with Greg and I before your team's Warrington Wolves game at the Halliwell Jones. Team Talk membership. You get the maximum 3 entries into our prize draws and into our fantasy league. You will also have the opportunity to submit your question to the latest In Conversation guest, and you will be invited to every Final Whistle podcast where you will become a star of the show alongside the Super League Raw team. Membership starts from as little as £2.99 per month, so why not substitute a latte for 7 days of rugby league analysis and entertainment? Don't hesitate. Visit Patreon now and become a part of the fastest growing universal rugby league community online.
So there you go. That's how you do it. It's live. It's now going over to our Patreon website. Do the QR code. That's all the benefits you're even going to get me to put my hand in my pocket now. I'll buy you a beer before the wire game. What more?
I was going to say, mate, that's what be by surprise.
The benefits are getting bigger every single time. Do look at the membership. We do plow it back in terms of tickets, etc., etc. The quiz last night, towels going, all sorts of good stuff. Get involved with that. Right, as you can see, the next conversation I want to have with you about, boys, knock-ons. When did backwards become the new forwards? Every time the ball hits the floor at the moment in Super League, the refs are giving a knock-on, regardless of which way the ball goes. Let's have a discussion of that. I just don't get this. Of course, the captain challenge is probably going to come in. They're going to have a field day, the captains, next year, overturning these, because it's absolutely unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, as soon as the ball hits the ground, it's just a knock-on in rugby league. Was it the Wigan Huddersfield one? There was one in that, and it was just it went so far. It went a good 2 meters backwards.
Yeah,
and I even said to Mrs. I usually give a knock-on for that. It's crazy. And I think it's the linesmen who are giving it, because it always seems to be when they're close to the touchline.
It's just bizarre. Absolutely bizarre, Greg. I mean, it's crept in, but under the radar, because I don't think anybody other than us have discussed this. I've not heard this on any other podcast, and I wanted to go there because, quite frankly, as Steph says, ball hits the floor, knock on, regardless of which direction the ball goes.
Yeah, it's something that's crept in over the last 3 or 4 years, to be honest. And as you know, I watch my youngest plays rugby union in the winter. No matter what we say about rugby union, the ball hits the floor and goes back. The referee waves play on.
Yeah, absolutely.
The women's game. My eldest plays for Warrington Wolves women. The ball hits the floor and goes back. The referee waves play on. You get to Super League, the ball hits the floor. The referee gives a knock on, and whether it's a directive, I have no idea. But it's. Yeah, as Paul Bowman says, if he's faced his own try line, it's not a knock on. And yet, even they're being given as knock-ons now. If you're facing your own line, the ball goes, and yet sometimes they're missing even the most blatant of knock-ons.
Yeah,
the try against Lee, that winning try, they missed a clear knock-on from Warrington there, and I say that as a Warrington fan.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is. It's frustrating. It's annoying for fans. At least there's one thing we can say, that it's consistency, which is all we ask for.
Yeah.
But we have now got to a situation where if the ball goes backwards, let's wave play on and let the move continue, because the games are too stop-starty as they are at the minute.
It tends to be as well when the players are being held up in the tackle, doesn't it? Or just going to ground and it kind of squeezes out, then it's a knock on straight away, even if it's blatantly gone backwards. Yeah. And the other thing that annoys me, I know we're probably not talking about it, but this penalty that's given for not playing the ball properly when a defending player is quite clearly pushing down on the player playing the ball, and a penalty goes the opposite way for not playing the ball properly. That drives me insane when it's clear as day.
Yeah,
that the defending player has got his hand on the the player playing the ball, and he's either pushing him backwards or pushing him down. That really annoys me as well.
You get to stop milking it, don't you? How many times a game do you hear the ref saying stop milking it?
Yeah. And it's clear as day that the defending player is interfering with play.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Neil Rennicks has said, reference the knock-ons. It's happening in the NRL as well. Absolutely. It's something I think that the game needs to get a real handle on. But, bottom line is this needs tidying up for me. I think the captain's challenge will be a big bonus with regards to that going into next year. Ladies and gentlemen, there's loads of you now with us. Please like, comment, subscribe, like now, share this with your friends. We need the community growing here at Super League Raw, the best magazine show that you're going to get online every single week. Please press the share button. Let all your friends know that you're watching Super League Raw tonight. That's all I ask from you. That and maybe go and visit the membership. Apart from that, just sit back and enjoy. Press that share button. Outstanding stuff. Right, one last thing from me before I'll open it up in case you guys have seen anything that I've not seen. Yorkshire Rugby League, boys. What's happening? What's happening in Yorkshire? You've got to go back to 2018. That was the last time 3 Yorkshire sides finished in the playoffs, those being Casford, Huddersfield and Hull FC. Since then, up until last year, there was 2. Leeds have done particularly well in that period. Cass were in there in 2019. FC were there. And this is the mad thing, FC, they were in there 1920. We forget about that. They were in the top 6 and in the playoffs. And of course, KR, they were in the playoffs in 21 and 23. Huddersfield made 2022, that year when they got to Wembley and were beaten by the Wigan Warriors. One team, still KR, in the top 6 this year. What's going on with Yorkshire Rugby League?
I'll let you answer that one first, Steph.
Cheers, Reggie. I'll annoy everyone. Half of our followers.
Not helpful.
Yeah, no. I mean, it was a bad week for him this week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No Yorkshire sides winning this week. I mean, I would say that Hull KR are flying the flag for Yorkshire, aren't they, at the moment? And even Leeds and Huddersfield are still, in touching distance with the top 6 is just outside it. So, but you have got to say that, for the last few years, the Yorkshire sides have been underperforming. It's a bit of a thing, because you could even say Wakefield, couldn't you, go in with Wakefield going out? That's like tip the scales in the Lancashire favour. But even still, they still seem to be underperforming a bit, don't they?
Yeah, they do, Greg.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as if there's a mass exodus of players from Yorkshire either. We have a few players coming over to the likes of Wigan maybe and Warrington and Saints, but I don't know. Is it the weight of expectancy that we expect Yorkshire teams to do really, really well? Is it complacency in the fact that they think they're going to do really, really well, and other teams have gone past them, like for instance Salford and Lee and Warrington to a certain extent? Being warned off here by Greg, so I'm being very, very careful what I'm saying. But it's a good question.
It is,
and you've also got to remember that these things go in cycles. That in 5 or 6 years' time, we may well be asking the same thing about clubs from this side of the.
I was going to say peaks and troughs, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's just timing that there's some very strong Lancashire sides as well.
Well, let's get into the chat, boys. Let's get into the chat. Yeah, let's get into the chat, Greg, because Greg Roach said, tread carefully. He's fancying an all-Yorkshire Challenge Cup final. You could be right. Lee Partington saying, at least they do good tea bags. They do a good brew in Yorkshire, Lee. You're quite right. Dawn Baker saying that the Yorkshire Rose has gone limp. We'll remind you of that after the semi-final, Dawn. That's your contribution to the Craig Rigby blunder that was on the final whistle. Craig, we haven't forgotten. Remember to watch on Sunday to see who Wigan are playing in the final. We'll never let him forget it if Hull KR were to win that. Right, it says there, question London Broncos or Hull FC 2025. That's been done. I mean, there's no doubt it will be Hull FC. I thought, before we get on to other things here, I thought Mike Eccles, we said this, I think in the final whistle, Greg, I thought Mike Eccles handled that whole London relegation at the end of the season. I don't know if you've seen the press conference, but he handled it really, really well.
Yeah, he did. He speaks well. And, he no matter what happens to London, I don't think he's doing his stock any harm at all this season.
No.
In terms of the way he's reacted, in terms of the way his team plays, because London have played some good stuff. They've been, they were unfortunate against Hull first time around.
Yeah.
Against Leeds, they showed some nice touches.
Yeah.
Just going back to, I think it was Neil Rennick said that Yorkshire clubs aren't investing as much in their academies, which could be a real good, a real good reason. But,
I don't know. I don't know about that, Greg. I think Leeds have got quite a lot of good prospects coming through. They're just probably 2, maybe 3 years away. I think Leeds' renaissance will be in a couple of years without regard.
Yeah. Just picking up on a comment that was said. It might be a reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to the London situation, he's not done himself any harm at all. And also I think a certain Mr. Meadows might be putting himself in the shop window as well.
Yeah.
And if Lewis Dodd is going to the NRL, then he could be a very, very good replacement at Saints.
Yeah, all Leeds. Yeah, we've said that. All Leeds, or dare we say Hull FC?
Well, they're buying everybody else, so
let's be honest. Interesting, and let's be fair. If there's a continued exodus at Lee, would they look at James Meadows? If other changes were afoot at Lee, who knows? Very, very interesting indeed.
Give Craig Rugby a yellow card, please.
Well, yeah, I've seen that. In terms of this, I mean, look, I'm not saying this from a Glee perspective. I'm not. We need Leeds. We need Hull FC. We need these teams at a standard. We want the competition to be as tight as possible and as entertaining as possible. But I don't know. Like I said, I just thought it was an interesting question tonight. Whilst we've got the Challenge Cup week, of course, I thought, you know what? Let's throw it in there. Let's have a chat about it. You guys in the chat, what your thoughts? It's really interesting. I mean, that's an interesting point there from Neil. I think it was the one that you picked up on, Greg. He said that they didn't invest enough when they were making hay. Interesting point. Yeah, it is an interesting.
It's taken Leeds a long time to replace the golden generation.
Absolutely. Back to Steph. Matt Davis signed on till 2026 this evening for the Lee Leopards. Steady player, can play loose forward or hooker. Been doing a lot in the hooking role since in his time at Lee. Got a nice try as well recently for you, mate. He took it very well, didn't he? Your thoughts on that?
No, we're really, really pleased. I think he's been a bit of an unsung hero in the past, last season or so. Gone under the radar a little bit, and while we've had our mini injury crisis, he's really, really come to the fore. I think still a lot of people forget that, despite losing a lot of our best players this season, we've still been competitive every game, and Matt Davis has been quite a big reason into why we have.
Don't know where Reggie's gone. He's back. The big dogs will beat Wigan on Saturday, says Carvalli. That's what he's saying in there. And Richard Firth giving a shout out to the Castleford Academy. Fair play to you there, Rich. Well done. I don't know if Liam Horn can play for them, but if he could, I'm sure they'll be putting him in the team this week. I think they'll be playing for the reserves, to be fair. And yes, Neil Rennick, absolutely. I don't think we mentioned this on the final whistle. Paddy Mago, 2 years and fully deserved at the Wigan Warriors, it's got to be said.
Yeah, a couple of the Wigan forwards have gone out on loan this week. But Patrick Mago, we saw him pre-season friendly a couple of years ago, Dave, and he was head and shoulders the best forward on the park.
Yep.
He dropped that.
Very nearly dropped me scotch then. That could have been a disaster.
Well, that could have been the end of the show there and then.
What day drinking does for you, that?
Yeah, that does. Yeah, I think there was a little yellow card in there for me as well. Let me move on. I'm allowed one. Go on, let's crack on.
Exactly. Yeah, he was head and shoulders the best forward on the park.
Fair enough. Any other news that I missed, gents? Any other news that we missed, or are we moving on?
Something I picked up on a couple of the forums. Due to the structural problems at Old Trafford, should the grand final be moved away?
Well,
from there.
I mean, at the risk of talking football, I mean, how embarrassing for supposedly one of the most richest clubs in the world. It just goes to show, what the Glazers have done. And look, we've said for a long time that Old Trafford, in terms of a venue, it's very old now. There's no in-goal area. It risks player welfare. I think the time has probably come for the grand final to move. I think the only real attraction for Old Trafford is it remains the biggest stadium in the Northwest. That said, when was the last time we filled it? So, it's one of those in it where I do think it's probably going to go to more than likely the Etihad, or dare I say it, let's be fair, the most modern stadium in the Northwest is about to be at Goodison Park in Liverpool.
Yeah, well, it's just down the road from Goodison. Yeah, I went past it the other day on the on the train out to Aintree. It's going to be a magnificent stadium.
Yeah.
They'll have a championship football side there coming a couple of years. So why not host a grand final there?
Bring some revenue in. And there goes the St. Helens contingent, at least half of them anyway. Lee Partington saying the Etihad. Paul Francis absolutely saying yeah. Is that a Loch Lomond Scotch Dave? Good Lord, no. It's a Cardew Goal Reserve, sir. Come on, behave yourself. Anyway, we move on. Neil Rennick, he's going Etihad. Dawn Kirkby saying...
The Etihad is a great shout. Magic Weekend there was fantastic.
Robert Hickson wants a party. He wants to go back to Newcastle for the grand final.
Not a bad shout. If we could fill St James's Park, that would be brilliant because it's a great stadium.
It is. It's a great...
I'd steer clear of the Reebok or whatever it's called.
It's a bit of a trek from Lee, though, isn't it?
Well, the Reebok or Newcastle?
No, Newcastle.
You don't need bother.
You're being ambitious getting there, aren't you?
We don't have to worry about that this season.
Oh dear!
The Reebok, because that is an awful ground to get in and out of.
It is. And again,
it's similar to Old Trafford. Old Trafford is a pain to get in and out of.
Yeah.
It's aged though as well, the Reebok, mate. Again, it's another stadium that was once very modern, but is now very aged. It's a great shout, Greg. Steph, your quick thoughts on this one?
Yeah, we all went to the grand final.
And we will be this year again, sir.
Yeah. And it used to be, like you say, state of the art. It's just embarrassing now when you go. I'm a United fan as well, and it's... they need to build that new stadium as soon as possible, and then maybe move it back once. But my vote would be for the Etihad. I think the Etihad's a great stadium.
Well, as Spencer says, we need to fill it somehow, don't we?
Well, Spencer Thomas, good evening to Spencer. That's the first time we've had Spencer on the screen. Maybe a new viewer to Super League Raw Weekly. Well done, Spencer. Yeah, absolutely. Well, one thing's for certain, there'll be more local fans, I would have to say. Now, that's actually hard. If there's one thing we can say about Manchester City, it is local play. Anyway, we're not talking football. Let's move off that. Lee Partington saying Villa Park, behave yourself. No. Another ground that's a pain to get to.
Oh, it's awful at Villa Park.
I think for me, the three, Newcastle, Etihad, and probably the new Everton Stadium when it comes along. But yeah, I think the time is right for a change. Right, before we get into just a little bit of round number 11, before we move on to the Challenge Cup semi-finals, let's take a look at the top performers from round number 11.
Here are your top performers from round number 11 of the Betfred Super League. The top try scorers this week, both with a hat-trick, are Liam Marshall and Wonga Blake. The most try assists were from St Helens, both Conrad Hurrell and Johnny Lomax with 3. The top meter maker in Super League in round 11 was Tom Johnston of the Catalan Dragons with 268. Liam Marshall got 244. Dufty once again in the top 4 with 216, and Bevan French with 209. The top tackle buster was James Bell of St Helens with 10. Josh Fulis, Ash Handley and Essen Masters all got 9. The most clean breaks were by Matty Ashton and Bevan French with 3. The most offloads came from Essen Masters and Lewis Benek with 5. The top hard meter makers, you've got to be a prop forward. Second row loose forward in this one was Matty Lees of St Helens with 189. Kane Ellis got 153. Curtis Simmons 146 and Tom Amone 138. The top tacklers in Super League were Dean Hadley of Hull KR with 53. Oliver Partington got 51. Cameron Smith 45 and Liggy Sow 43. And finally, the top goal kickers were joint Mark Percival and Harry Smith, each with 8, whilst Arthur Morg and Ollie Leyland got 5. These were your top performers from round number 11 of the Betfred Super League.
There they are, the top performers from round number 11. Some brilliant tries. If you saw the news yesterday, the tries of the week, we're going to be uploading those tonight on our YouTube channel for you to enjoy. If you didn't see the news, they're already a part of the news, but some belting tries this weekend. The Wolves 20, Robins 8, Tigers 4, Saints 60, Leopards 40, Red Devils 12, Giants 6, Warriors 48, Dragons 26-0 in probably one of the most drabbest affairs we've ever seen, and the Broncos 34, Hull FC 18. Before we get into all of those, like I say, the 1 second from bottom was perhaps one of the most drabbest affairs ever, as in the sheds, put eloquently. Dragons 26, Leeds Rhinos 0. Okay, let's get into this one, shall we? First and foremost, let's just go straight there. Lovely try by Artur Morg. Well done, Artur. The 3-2-1. 3 points to Mike McMeekin. Brilliant performance from Mike. 27 tackles in D, 18 carries, 120 metres. Very, very solid down the middle. 2 points, Tom Johnston. Took his try well. 268 metres, 17 carries, 5 tackles, 2 clean breaks on the day. 1 point, Tom Davis. Another try from him. 19 carries, 136 metres, 7 tackle bus and a clean break. What have all these players got in common? Not one of them made an error in a game full of errors. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot polish a turd. And that is what this game was. That's In the Sheds. Catalan Dragons 26, Leeds Rhinos 0. We'll see you next time. Bye for now. So there was In the Sheds, and as you can see, Dawn was in stitches at that one. I had nothing more to say on the game.
Dave.
You never know what you're going to get when you tune in to In the Sheds, boys.
Can I ask you next one? Just get off that fence, will you?
I
That's what you really mean.
try my best. I really, really do. But yeah,
I thought there'd been an error when you uploaded it because it was only 1 minute 36. I thought, you made a mistake on the uploading.
Callum Culver said the same thing. He actually sent me a message, Dave. It's only loaded 136. I'm thinking, just watch it, Callum. Just watch it.
I tell you what, Steph, that was still longer than the highlights on BBC.
yeah, true.
Dawn says she's watched it 3 times and it's still funny. Yeah, In the Shed.
Again, such a dull game. There was some great tries.
There were some great tries, but mate, it was an error fest. It was a shocking
awful game. Ended up fast forwarding it.
For those of you joining us for the first time tonight on our YouTube channel, we put In the Shed. It's a 5. Well, that was a record 1 minute 36. We've never had one so small. But after every game, there's a fun, factual, it's very unique program called In the Shed. They're all available on our YouTube channel. Go and have a look at them. 10 minutes of sheer joy and merriment. Go and have a look at it. But yeah, Robert Hickson said it was the perfect description for what was a drab game. Brilliant try. I mean, Greg, you said it there. The Morg try was superb. Johnson took as well. I mean, you know, in the Warrington game, the Kingy tries were really, really good. There's some belters at the LSV, Steph. I mean, even though there's a few blowouts this week, at least there was quality tries in those blowouts and also in the tight games.
Yeah, I think the pitch is drying up. It's definitely starting to have an effect now. And we're seeing some real, full lengthers coming in and some real, like side steps, like the Morg one. They're able to plant the foot now and the steps are coming in. Bevan French is coming into his own, so long may that continue as we head into the summer months.
Let's hope so. Indeed. Absolutely. Yeah. Look, I mean, it's very easy. We don't talk our game down. Yeah. I mean, that Catalan one, a bit of fun there because I had very little to say about the game. But Greg's right. There was some lovely moments in that game in terms of the Morg tries. The tries were the pick of the bunch. It has to be said. But yeah, look, great round of Rugby League, round number 11. Some really nice tries. I mean, let's just go there straight away. Wigan and Saints. Showing yet again how good they actually are when they're in free flow, gents. Greg, I'll start with yourself. Very impressive.
Yeah, one word, ruthless.
Yeah.
Ruthless. They don't take the foot off the gas.
Yeah.
They know the importance of points difference. They know the importance. You could say Saints haven't been playing that well. They've played themselves into form. They've used that game to play themselves into form, I think.
Yeah.
Wigan have been just class all season.
Yeah,
there's not a lot else you can say about Wigan this season. That they're a frightening prospect.
Yeah.
Just Saints will have used that game maybe to shake off a couple of cobwebs to get things going. Wigan have just proved what an outfit they are this season.
Yeah, some really good tries. I mean, Steph, in terms of Saints, I mean, Greg there says ruthless. Saints haven't been ruthless though, have they, this season? In this game they were against Huddersfield. That was a game where you would class them as being ruthless. But there's been far too many games this year where Saints have not really been at it. I mean, if you look down the wins this year against, let us say, reasonable opposition. Yourselves, the Lee Leopards, 12-4. Nothing ruthless there. You look at the Leeds Rhinos, it was 18-8 against the Leeds Rhinos away from home. the Dragons, they beat them, of course. The win against Wigan, tight game in that one. Huddersfield, again, 13-12. They haven't been ruthless. They were in this one. And that, for me, is what's missing at the moment from Saints. It was a glimmer. I mean, they've done it a few times this year, whereas Wigan seems to be able to do that on a more frequent basis.
Yeah, and quite rightly, the Saints fans will say at the moment, we've scored the most points in Super League and we've conceded the least, which is true. But what you've got to throw into the mix there is that we're going to play the game less. And whether that points difference will go up because they played against us, we'll soon to see. But I think the biggest thing when it comes to ruthlessness, and I think the reason why you're seeing like the Saints and the Wigan, who are quite close at half time with your likes of Castleford and Huddersfield, is the strength of the depth and the bench. I think Wigan pretty much named a 1 to 17. They've not got any injuries, and then when you look at the bench, it's absolutely frightening. So they're coming on and just wearing them out. And I think they gassed Huddersfield in that game. I think that was the thing. And then that's what enabled them to pull away. And the class of your superstars like French comes into its fore when the players start tiring.
I mean, to be fair, Ian Watson was stunned in his post-match interview. I mean, he just said he didn't see that coming. It was a tight game up until half-time. But, they will not be the only team that Wigan blow away this year. They won't be. A simply sensational performance from Bevan French. Right, we do this all the time, don't we? Before we get to team of the week, it's that time of the week again where we say, let's laugh at the Man of Steel and at the Albert Goldthorpe. Oh, yes, they've been at it again. Don't you worry about that. Let's get in there. Let's start with a London game. Okay, let's start with the London game. First and foremost, okay. Where are we going to go first with this one? Let's get them up. One moment. Oh, here we go. Let's get to the London game. So, in terms of ourselves, we went on this one just for notoriety. We went Walker 3 points. We gave 2 points to Meadows and 1 point to Leyland. The Albert Goldthorpe, they gave 3 to Bassett. Got no issue with that because I was considering Bassett for a point. I have to say, I thought Bassett and Penta had a really, really good game. This is where it gets interesting, boys. This is where it gets interesting. And may I just say, I just want to give a shout out, if I may, to Hugh Richards. Hugh Richards was the man who gave the Goldthorpe points out. I'm going to get controversial this week. Quite frankly, guys, the lack of credibility in the Goldthorpe is adding week on week for me. 2 points to Hugo Thiessen. Did anyone see that? Anyone?
Chucker.
It's unbelievable. So it is unbelievable, but it gets worse. It gets worse because the 1 point goes to Danny Houghton. Right now, guys, I'm not against Hull FC, but this is why at the moment serious questions need to be asked on the Albert Goldthorpe because now I'm going to give you a little bit of tutelage. Danny Houghton got a point for the Albert Goldthorpe. He didn't make a meter in the game.
No, I know.
In the game, he did 25 tackles. That's it. 25 tackles gets him a point in the Albert Goldthorpe. Hugh, my friend, whoever you are, shocking.
Can I just say Tedesco factor?
Yeah,
mate.
It's his names, isn't it? They're just picking names.
It's clearly. I've not heard his name. He's clearly new to the game. And Danny Houghton has been probably one of the only names that he recognises. Now he's probably going to get on here and sue me.
Well, mate, I'm sorry, but you're putting yourself. Look, we're here to be shot at. If you're going to do things like this, you're there to be shot at. And quite frankly, for me now, the Goldthorpe is getting to a point where, I'll be honest with you, I'm going to pat ourselves on the back. The Super League trophy is going to be a far better and prestigious award. I don't care what anybody says because we do it spot on. We do it spot on. That is ridiculous. And you'll see when we get to Team of the Week at the moment, you'll see how spot on we do it. You really will. We judge players on the best in their position when it comes to Team of the Week. Don't matter if they win or lose. You can have a storming game in your position in a losing side. That's all I'm going to do.
The question last night, the quiz was Rashford got man of the match in the grand final that Warrington lost.
Correct.
He can't play 100%. Well in a losing team.
Correct.
But
That's just unbelievable. Do you know what? And I get really, I'm that passionate about this wonderful game of ours that our players, our gladiators, deserve the recognition. And quite frankly, how on earth, I'm sorry, even Thiessen, how he gets 2 and how Houghton get, I mean, look, Natoli, incredible in second row. Incredible in second row. Bassett, no issue with Bassett. Maludi had a good game.
Maludi was superb, I thought.
He was superb. Beanick, superb. Cracking game. So, you know, I'm sorry to say that. Sorry to say no. I'm sorry. Unbelievable. Right. Let's move to the Wigan game.
Les has said Houghton got a point for his haircut. There's nothing wrong with his haircut, Les.
Yeah, true. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're all there. Right, let's get into the Wigan Huddersfield Giants game. So we went French for 3. In fact, we all did. And let's be fair, it'd have been a travesty had French not have got 3 across the board. He was that good. Ourselves and Goldthorpe went 2 for Marshall, which I thought was appropriate. But the Man of Steel have given 2 to Essen Masters. Can somebody, I mean, he was the best player on the Huddersfield side, granted. But Essen Masters, the top 3 players on the park, Man of Steel, anyone?
No.
He walked back to the halfway line quite well.
I'm a big fan of Masters, but I want to give him 2 points.
No, there's a list as long as your arm on the Wigan side that you could give the 2 points to. Yeah. So anyway, they gave it to Masters.
No, I don't understand that one. I've got to admit.
We gave a point to Field. I thought Field had probably his better game of the season. No issues with the Goldthorpe on this, or whoever the journalist was for that. Fair play to you. He gave 1 to Cade Ellis, and I was very close to giving 1 to Cade Ellis. Cade Ellis had a good game.
When he was in top performance there, I was going to say that Cade Ellis has been flying under the radar for the games he's played this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Greg Roach is surprised. Roach is surprised that Jake Connor didn't get one. And then the goal. So the Man of Steel gave 1 to Smith, and again, no issue. Smith had a good game, but I do think there was other players in the Wigan side that deserved the points more than he did. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into the next one. I love this part of the show. It's always good fun. Let's get to the Lee Leopards, who took on the Salford Red Devils. The first thing is no points to any Salford player, and rightly so. Rightly so. No issues with that. We gave 3 for Lamb, as did the Man of Steel. Happy days. No issues with that. The Goldthorpe gave 3 to Dwyer. Again, I can see why. From a Super League Raw perspective, I thought Lamb was better, but I can see why. We gave a point to Dwyer.
Yeah, Dwyer was lively.
He was lively. Ran well from dummy half, didn't he?
Yeah.
He had a good game.
Yeah, he did 60 meters, 16 minutes as well. Sorry, not 60.
Yeah,
minutes.
he was solid, man. I mean, and look, and let's be fair. You know, Adrian Lamb didn't feel the need to bring your pappy back on.
Exactly, yeah.
Says a lot about how well Dwyer played in that game. So I've got no issue with that 3 points from the Albert Goldthorpe. I think that's a fair shout. What I have got an issue with the Albert Goldthorpe is they gave a point to Tom Amone. Now, I'm sorry. They've gone 3 for Dwyer, 2 for Lamb, 1 for Amone. Amone was quality. He's always quality. But by Amone's standards, not as good as he normally is. And quite frankly, there were better players in the Lee side this week than Tom Amone. You're a Lee fan, Steph, so I'll come to you. Tom Amone a point?
No, I'd have gone either Charnley or Moylan.
Yeah, exactly right.
2 there with Hanley as well, with a shout.
Yeah, I was going to say I'd have given Hanley a point at least.
He had a good game. I thought his first try, the way he went onto that ball was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. The Man of Steel went 3 for Lamb. They went 2 for Moylan. Again, as good as Moylan's been, obviously, I disagree with that because I didn't give him a point this week. I thought there was other players better, but he had a good game. No doubt Moylan had a good game. Was he worthy of 2, Steph?
No, I gave him a point, didn't I, just then? So, you know, I think between him and Hanley for a point.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. In terms of the Catalan game, let's go to that wonderful match, the greatest advert for Rugby League that we've ever seen. Let's go to that one. Non-surprisingly, all the points did go the way of the Catalan Dragons in this one. Any real surprises? No. So we'll move on. No real surprises. No major issues with that game.
Did Morg get any points?
Morg got some points, yeah. Yeah, Morg was in there. As for the Warrington game, we gave 3 to King. 3 went to King for the Albert Goldthorpe. 2 from the Man of Steel. The Man of Steel gave 3 to Fewlis. We gave 2 to Fewlis, we have to say. Both I think everybody actually. Oh no, we and the Man of Steel gave a point to. So we and the Goldthorpe gave a point to Mikey Lewis. Man of Steel gave one to Tanguy Noah. Other than putting George Williams on the floor for the try of Broadbent. Again, we've been massive advocates of Tanguy Noah this season, but he wasn't a point, was he?
No, he played okay, but it wasn't anywhere near the performance we've seen previously this season.
No, and I'm going to bring your brother in, Matthew Sale, soon to be a member of Super League Raw. I keep remembering Matty, soon to be a member of Super League Raw. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for the full family sale. That's what I'm waiting for. But Mulhern was the best prop. I tell you what, and I mean this in all sincerity. Yes, he might not have made as many meters as Tom Amone, but let's not forget he's come back from injury. He did 110 meters in this game, 4 tackle bust, did 16 tackles in defence. I agree. I think when you consider he wasn't game sharp, I think Mulhern's shift, Steph, was worthy of praise.
Yeah, 100%. He had a really good game.
Yeah.
I think you miss Mulhern when he's not in.
Oh, 100%. It's no coincidence we're getting Amone and Mulhern back in the Pappy, and all of a sudden we start playing better.
I think he was very, very undervalued at Warrington.
Yeah.
And he should have been given a contract extension at Warrington.
Yeah.
For me, our loss is your gain. I think he's a superb prop.
He was the best forward in the 2021 Warrington team. I was amazed.
A million miles.
Yeah. But fair play to Lee. They offered him more money. So fair play, no issues, and it is Lee's gain. There's no doubt about it. Ladies and gentlemen, Matthew Sale, he's been watching my shows now for years. He's Steph's brother. It's quite embarrassing he's not a member of Super League Raw. So all of those people who are watching, do me a favour. Put in the chat now, Matty Sale, join the Super League Raw membership. Do it. Put pressure on him. Get in there. Steph's having a good gig like that one.
It's hard enough buy me a pint, never mind membership.
Well, he's going to miss out on those Wembley tickets.
He is. He's not in with a shout for them. But Mrs. Sale is, because not only is Steph a presenter, Steph is a Team Talk member as well. Mr. Sale, fair play to you, mate. Always happy to support. Right, we're going to finish off with the Saints game.
Can I just go back to the Warrington game and
go for it, mate. Go.
I thought Matty Nicholson was deserving of a point.
We're all going in now.
All right.
We're all going in.
I've got to get round there and give you a good shoeing, sir. I thought Matty Nicholson was absolutely outstanding. I thought he was deserving of a point, Matty Nicholson.
Yeah.
For Warrington. I really did. I thought he was superb.
In defence, he was quality, mate. There's no doubt. Yeah. Peter Mason, come on, Matt, get signed up. Well worth it, says Callum Calver. You're getting a bit of pressure here now. You're getting a bit of, Matt, you're a disgrace. That's a bit harsh, Paul. That's a bit harsh. Paul, you remember? Just asking for a friend.
We need to get Matthew on the WhatsApp group.
Glass houses, Paul, shouldn't throw stones. You know what I'm saying? You remember, Paul. But anyway, there you go. Greg Roach, shame, Matty, shame. That's enough. I don't want Matty to turn off. We've given him enough pelters. Right. In terms of the Saints game, guys, Matty Lees, great game. Don't get me wrong. I thought Matty Lees, best forward on the park, had a really solid shift for the Saints. But he weren't man of the match, was he? Matty Lees?
I thought he had a good game.
Sky man of the match. Man of Steel gave him 3 points. Goldthorpe gave him 2.
I'd have given him 2. I thought he had a good solid game, Lees.
Right. Super League Raw highlights. We're not going to put that on the screen because here at Super League Raw, we don't do language, my friend. We don't do language. So I can't put your comments on if you're going to do a bit of language. So just be mindful of that. We do have children watching our show. We're very mindful of that. But yes, great to have you with us. Don't get me wrong. But we cannot put any filth on the screen. Right.
Dave, can we just say, I know we can't put that on, but it has reminded me of something. I did want to... I wanted to do a massive congratulations to Wakefield and to Sheffield on making the 1895 trophy. I know how special that was when we got there to Tottenham. I know it wasn't at Wembley, but for those two clubs to get a trip to Wembley is absolutely massive, especially Sheffield, But no, I wanted to say congratulations and well deserved to both of them, and hope you have a fantastic time there.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what a proper old school clash that's going to be. Great to see those names in there. Outstanding stuff. But yeah, I mean, we'll finish off the Goldthorpe with the Man of Steel. The only thing I would say about Super League Raw, again, gentlemen, I do find it unbelievable. And I mean unbelievable. So the Goldthorpe, 3 points for Wellesby, 2 for Leeds, 1 for Hull. The Man of Steel, 3 for Lees, 2 for Wellesby, 1 for Hull. None of them gave any points to Johnny Lomax. I gave 3. I thought Lomax, again, Greg, we spoke about this many times. Johnny Lomax should have been Man of Steel in his career, but for whatever reason, always gets overlooked. Let me just, before I bring you in, Greg, Johnny Lomax in this game, an early try, set the tone. Let's not forget that. He set up 3. He did 4 attacking kicks and 5 kicks in general play. And as a scrum half, any scrum half who carries the ball for 22 times for 110 metres, this guy, for me, man of the match. But yet again, Greg, not given the accolades he's deserving of.
Yeah, and I don't know. I was thinking when you talk about Matty Lees, I was thinking, there was a player, and it was Lomax. It's a mystery. I cannot understand how Lomax has never won Man of Steel.
No.
It is one of those mysteries. A great game, maybe. I don't know. I have no answer to that. No. I really haven't. I really haven't got an answer to that.
Well, let's give Steve Cartledge his time in the sun. He said, good old Johnny. Fully agree. He's his favourite player in Super League, and he is a Wire fan, Steve. And that's it. Rugby league fans, they know a good player when they see one. Johnny Lomax and Dawn Baker. I mean, let's be fair, Dawn's a Wigan fan, and even Dawn's saying he's been so consistent and he's never noticed. I mean, that's the beauty of Super League Raw. We have people who follow us who are rugby league enthusiasts, and even if it's your biggest rival, you still recognise a quality player. I love Arthur. I really do. Well done, Dawn.
It's the same as Alex Walmsley. How's Alex Walmsley never won Man of Steel?
Absolutely.
Exactly. So anyway, it's come and gone for another week. We've had a little bit of a giggle at the Albert Goldthorpe, but you'll never forget that. Danny Houghton got a Man of Steel point for 25 tackles. If you go and have a look at how many tackles he put in round 11, let me tell you now, he's in the lower quartile, and yet he still got a Man of Steel point. Greg mentioned Matty Nicholson. He did 41. He didn't get a point. Anyway, but that's by the by. That is by the by. Right, let's get into the team of the week. Greg, put your feet up. Greg Roach, get ready. Here it comes. Is proudly sponsored by the Good Estate Agent. Join the rugby league community in trusting Stefan and his team when you are buying, letting or selling property.
It's the Super League Raw Team of the Week for round number 11 with the Good Estate Agent for 2024. Here we go again, a fullback. How do you like your walkers? Well, we like ours. Alex, he has the perfect prawn cocktail to be an outstanding Super League stalwart. His try had Tom Briscoe in a right pickled onion too. Let's all have a disco. At 2 is Liam Marshall. His second hat-trick of the season versus the Giants has elevated him to the top try scorer this season. All we can say is go and enjoy your Wigan kebab, sir. You've earned it. This week, at 3 is the human wrecking ball, Conrad Hummel. Time and time again, he punished the Casper Tigers' left edge. It must have felt like deja vu to Senior and Co. Can you imagine reliving Conrad running against you time after time? Fear is brown, ladies and gentlemen. At 4 is Toby King of the Warrington Wolves. His best player of the season so far. Petter Hiku was placed firmly in King's pocket in this one. Yes, his tries were ones of majesty, but his defence was the jewel in the crown of this wire win. At 5, retaining his place week on week is Josh Charlie. Yes, Wonga Blake scored 3, but Josh's 2 and all-round display trumped and towered over Wonga's for us. Who needs New York when you can go sightseeing like this in Lee? Oh yes, at 6 is the reigning Man of Steel who makes his second appearance of the season. Who needs Eurovision when you can watch Bevan playing with the Giants like puppets on a string? Talk about playing to his own tune. No nil point here. Oh no, quality. At 7 is Lachlan Lamb, who once again showed his class against the Red Devils. An all-round performance of brilliance from Lamb Jr. A grubber kick here, a floaty ball there, and a try quite simply that Ryan Briley will wish to forget. Cheeky. At 8 is Matty Lees of St. Helens, the biggest hard meter maker of the round. He did it tough in the first half at the Jungle, and no other forward on the winning side did as much tackling in the round either. Knowledge. At 9 is Bradley Dwyer. Some wonderful runs from dummy half at Salford begging for mercy, whilst the fans felt they were in a land of make-believe. This was Bradley's best, and it was rubber stamped because Edwin Pape was allowed a sustained breather. Superb. At 10 is Erman SAS, yes, in the beaten side. He is a must to avoid on this form. Listen, people, something is happening at FC where Herman is concerned. Years may come and years may go, but I do think that Herman is the real deal. bet your life I do. At 11, he's now a hat-trick of appearance for Lachlan Fitzgibbon of the Warrington Wolves. Another masterclass from the big second row. Had the Robins rocking, and in the shed, he was harping and a bobbing, singing the team song. Oh yeah! At 12, is Ethan Natoli of the London Broncos. What an impact the Italian has had since his return. Like a good ragu, this player has depth and punch aplenty, whilst just like a Red Barbera, his intensity and robust playing style leaves you with a sweet taste of cherries and plumage. Chin chin. And finally at 13 is once again James Bell. In the absence of Knowles, Bell was given a sustained run out against the Tigers. Have you ever seen a player from New Zealand look so much like a Mexican? Arriba! This is your team of the week for round number 11.
So there you go. There you go, Greg. I always come to you first. On you go.
Arriba.
Arriba. Steve Cartley saying, where do you get the scripts from? And Craig Rigby delighted in the chat that I got your revision in there a couple of times for him. Over to you, Reggie.
Yeah. How'd you follow that, mate? Yeah. Hurrell has flattered to deceive a lot of the times this season. But pleased to see him there. I'm surprised Danny Houghton didn't make it, mate.
I'm shocked that Houghton didn't make it.
25 tackles.
Yeah, deserving of a place.
Yeah, I'm surprised why I edged him out. But, I bow to your greater knowledge. Now, decent team. Good to see some London players in there. SASA, again, in a beaten side, was superb.
Mate, exactly. And this is what I mean about us calling it straight. Yeah. He will not feature in anybody's team of the week, but his stats speak for themselves. SASA at the moment in a beaten side, he's doing his job. And I think it's only right that we acknowledge that. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. We've been quite critical of SASA, haven't we? Especially at the start of the season. But he's one of the shining lights at the moment, I think. Hurrell as well. I think it was his best game for Saints this year. So good to see him in the team, and James Bell as well getting some well-deserved recognition as well. I think he's right up there with the top 13s in Super League, and it's probably a bit of a shame he doesn't get more game time, Bell, because I think Saints are a better team with him on the pitch.
Yeah, spot on. I think James Bell. We're
absolutely
of James Bell here at Super League Raw. Cracking player, quality in fact. Great performance. So there you go, another team of the week in the bag. For another week. We're just moments away from taking a look at the games of the Challenge Cup. But before we do that, let's take a quick look at the Fantasy League. And as you can see, look at this. All five are not a member. It's unbelievable. The top 5 are not members. And the winning person gets a season ticket for 2025. Unbelievable. And none of them are members. So at the moment, Oliver Brown, congratulations. You are in prime position for a replica shirt. Ryan Birch continues to lead the membership. He is in pole position for a season ticket. Tony Pennington involved as well. And a little team called Super League Raw got the best score on the week, over 900 points. Super League Raw scored this week. Obviously, if I finish top, I don't have to give away a season ticket. Only joking. I wouldn't do that to our fine membership. But it was wonderful for 1 week only to have the best score of the league.
Well done, Dave.
Is that Matthew in 6th, Dave?
Is it your? I don't know. I don't know.
Not a member.
I don't know. I'm not even looking at your Matt.
You're not a member. You missed the joke.
Not even looking at your Matt at the moment. Not even looking at him. You know what I mean? He comes here every week, taking everything we have to offer. Doesn't even bother becoming a match. Shocking.
I might disown him, Dave. I might disown him.
Well, mate, I'll tell you, I can't wait for your barbecue before the league game. Anyway, here we go. This is the Super League table after 11 rounds. The Warriors top with a game in hand. The Saints and the Wire and the Dragons all on 16. 2 teams now on the 14 points. Robins and the Red Devils. The Rhinos staying on 12. The Giants still on 10. And look at the Leopards. They're now up to 7. Just still a bit of work to go to get to 6. But I think they'll be feeling a bit more confident off the back of what was a very, very good win indeed against the Salford Red Devils. Right, we're going to look at the Challenge Cup. The rest of the show, we're going to take a look at the Challenge Cup. But before we do, ladies and gentlemen, yet again, Super League Raw giving it you brilliantly. The membership have already watched this. Actually, it's going down as a little bit of a classic. Everybody said how well it came across in terms of the Liam Marshall in conversation. It was a great chat with Liam Marshall. Let's be fair, a Super League at the moment, an up-and-coming legend on the wing for the Wigan Warriors. What a player Liam Marshall is. And I asked him, who was the biggest joker in his dressing room. Here's a little teaser for you. It's live. Well, it's not live. It's going to be shown tomorrow, 8 o'clock on our YouTube channel. You can also download it as a podcast from 8 o'clock tomorrow night. And this is what he had to say about the jokers in the dressing room.
But apart from me, Harry Smith or Jay Field. Jay's a bit of a prankster. He's very smart with it, so he does some quite funny things. Like he did one where he'd put protein powder in. Obviously in your car you have your sun visor, and then a lot of the modern cars have the flip up for the mirror.
Yeah.
He'd put protein powder in the mirror bit, flapped it down and pushed the visor back up. So one of the lads had got in the car, gone to check something maybe in the teeth or whatever, and then as he opened it, the protein powder sort of fell on the lap. So that's the sort of stuff he does. That's just a little snippet. But then Harry Smith, just a little typical halfback from Widnes, just buzzing about, loves crack. He's always involved in a laugh or, as we say in Wigan, choving people, winding people up.
For those people who don't get Northern humour, crack is joking, by the way. Liam's not saying anything derogatory there about Mr. Smith. I have to say, it doesn't surprise me that Harry's a joker. Is he regretting that tash for his official photo this year? Because that's going to haunt him, surely.
No, this might be controversial, but I actually rated the tash and I felt like he should have kept it. It was a bit sus, the look, I agree, but he sort of suited it in a strange way. It was better than his mullet he had, but yeah, we told him he needs to bring it back. I think even his missus said she liked it, so that was crazy. But no, I think it's because he's not smiling on the picture and he's got this tash. He just looks a bit suspect, like he could be up to something. But no, I don't mind it. Bring back the tash.
Will be available for your viewing pleasure tomorrow night at 8 p.m. on our YouTube channel. Nobody does it like Super League Raw. Come on, you've got to become a member. Support us. You know what I mean? These things, the amount of time this takes. Come on, throw a dog a bone, is all I'll say. For less than a latte, that's the quote I'm going to keep using. Less than a latte a month, you can come and be a member and support the show. And then I can give it back with better prizes. Tonight, one of our Super League Raw members is going to win a pair of tickets for the Challenge Cup final. That draw is coming up at the end of the show. Don't you go anywhere, members. And as Dawn Baker says there, go and watch it. It's absolutely an outstanding episode of In Conversation. Right then, chaps, it's time for Challenge Cup weekend. Oh, yes, here we go. Come on, baby. So brilliant games. A repeat of the 2023 semi-final between the Wigan Warriors and Hull. And Hull KR, I was going to say FC there. Good Lord, glow. Anyway, let's get into this. Right, before we do, let's take a look at the road to the semi-finals. And as you can see, the Hull KR have had the more difficult journey to this point, and they've been very, very impressive. They beat the Salford Red Devils in round 6 by 40 points to 0, and then they beat Steph's Lee Leopards in a repeat of last year's grand final, 28-14. Leopards, to be fair, with a weakened side, put up a good fight, but the KR were triumphant on the day. As for Wigan, actually their more difficult game, believe it or not, was against Sheffield Eagles, who were right in that game at half-time, if you remember, folks, but they went out in the second half, maybe fitness told, 44-18 winners, but of course, an absolute shoo-in in the quarter-final, 60 points to 6 win in the Challenge Cup. Craig Rigby box before you start. It doesn't count. You have still not got as good a for and against the Saints in Super League. Let's not go there, my friend. Right, let's move on to a bit more statistics for you on this one. This is the head-to-head between these two sides in the Challenge Cup, ladies and gentlemen. Really interesting indeed. As you can see, 7 wins to 3 in the favour of the Wigan Warriors in history in the Challenge Cup. Neutral venues, again, the Wigan Warriors have 3-2 in that respect. Winners, no comparison. We know the legacy that is the Wigan Warriors in this competition. And this is both the Challenge Cup and Super League combined. Wigan this year, 416 points in the 4 column, taking on 330 for Hull KR. But actually, fair play to KR. In their defence, 183 to 156. That's pretty tight. Both of these two sides doing really well indeed. And let's not forget that when the Wigan Warriors went up against KR a couple of weeks ago, let's be fair, they did a number on the Warriors. Guys, nothing can be taken for granted here from the Wigan Warriors, unless you're Craig Rugby. I'm just going to put that in there again, Craig. Just going to put it in again, sir. Don't forget, Craig, Sunday, you need to watch who you're playing in the final. I'm just going to keep saying that. But this should be a belter. I mean, let's be fair. Greg, will come to you first on this one. Hull KR, on any given day, can beat any given side. They've got the quality, they've got the players, and in recent history, they are Wigan Warriors bogey team.
They are, yes. I'm really excited for this game. I really am. I don't think we expected Hull KR to win last season. I think that's the first thing. Everybody last season expected a Wigan Saints final. And that's no disrespect to Lee either, Steph. We were at that game. I think Lee fans kind of didn't believe they'd won at the end. It was wow. But going back to the KR Wigan game, yeah, KR absolutely did a number on Wigan, as you rightly said. Could they do it again? I think they could. My only reservation saying that is that Bevan French is on fire at this moment in time. And he could very well be the difference between the two teams.
It's a great show. But let's not forget here, matey, right? Last week, I put Bevan French down as the man to watch because I said, and I called it, I mean, I should be missed it. If only I was as good on Betfred as I am in terms of Super League Raw Weekly. Because if you remember, I put on our man to watch Bevan French because what I'd said was, and hopefully Craig and the other Wigan fans that are watching, I don't think he'd hit the heights. I mean, he's had a couple of glimpses. I mean, for example, the try against Saints, he's had a couple of glimpses, but we haven't seen the Bevan French of 2023 where he grabbed the game by himself. And lo and behold, that's exactly what he did this week. He was the Bevan French of 23.
Exactly. And, Mikey Lewis was Hull KR's best player against us on Thursday night.
Yeah,
but we did work out how to nullify him for a lot of that game. And if Wigan are watching that game, then as the best coaches will do, they will have watched our game on Thursday. And they will say, well, look what Jordy Crowther did. Look what, Fitzgibbon did to him. They will be kind of watching that and thinking, there's the way to nullify Mikey Lewis. Up on him quickly. Don't give him space. Whereas you say Bevan French can create space out of nothing and had a great game. A great game at the weekend. Probably his best game of the season.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think one of the biggest wins, Warrington got off to a flying start. There's no doubt about that at the weekend. But I think one of the biggest wins for Warrington was the D. I thought, like I said, King had Dicker in his pocket. Some of the defence on the other side between Fulis, Nicholson and Williams, in terms of the Evels on the arch and all what was going on that side. Tangino, with the exception of the try, where Tangino was steamroll Williams, they pretty much contained Tangino as well. And let's be fair, the three biggest threats this season, well, four, Mikey Lewis, other than the second half where he grew into the game, Evels, Hiku and Tangino, they've been the four picks for me. I mean, all this blurb over Tyrone May now, I'm sorry. They have been the four best players at KR this year. And Warrington, to their credit, shut all four pretty much down this week. And that said, though, I go back to it. Wigan have not been able to do that for quite some time.
I know, it's intriguing, isn't it?
It is far more intriguing than Craig's making out, because Craig seems to think it's a shoo-in for Wigan.
Well, I think Craig might have been working for Sky Sports the other year when they printed the Saints Wigan grand final off before the semi-finals had been played, maybe. But, inside information. But yeah, this for me is well, and Semba's going to the RFL.
Yeah. Actually, I would say all I would say, Steph, is there's an look. Let's just go there. Let's just say it right now. The Challenge Cup in Australia is one of the most revered competitions in rugby league. They love the Challenge Cup, and Junior Nsemba is going to be playing on Saturday. Let's get there, and every single Australian is going to be watching. And if Wigan are to win, there's one thing that's certain. Junior Nsemba is going to shine. He's going to shine, and so much so that people are going to want to buy him. Oh, yes, Junior Nsemba NRL. Over to you, Steph.
Oh, the world's watching, Dave. The world will be watching this weekend. Make no marks about that. And,
look at Dawn giving him grief in the chat.
And he may be backed up by Mr. Dupree as well. He might have a cracker this weekend as well. You never know.
Well, if anybody, Dupree deserves to a shot at the NRL, mate.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Anyway, enough of winding up our Wigan contingent. Steph, I mean, look, if this is as good, I mean, and we said on the final whistle, let's hope that both semi-finals are as good as last year's semi-finals, because they were great adverts for our games. Yeah. Walters may play. I don't think he will. Neil Rennick's saying Walters will play instead. I don't think he will. And Sam's in too good a form. Walters might get on the bench, but I
might be on the bench, Walters.
But again, I think, unfortunately for Walters, at the start of the season, sorry, Steph, welcome to the start. But in terms of Walters, had he been fit at the start of the season, I think Walters probably would have been straight into the Wigan side. But the fact that he's been injured has allowed Junior Nsemba to pretty much make that position his own. I think Walters has got a right task on, as good as he is, to get in to the starting lineup, Steph.
Yeah, well, he's wrote his own checkbook for the NRL, hasn't he?
Actually, that's the way he could get into the team. If Junior Nsemba goes early to the NRL.
It could be a mid-season transfer, couldn't it? You know, it's normally the other way around, isn't it? But you never know. With Sos in a bit of trouble, he used to stop him. But no, anyway, to bring it back to the game.
Yeah, bring it back to the game.
Well, we're actually talking planet Earth. Yeah, instead of winding up our very loyal Patreon team top members. No, I think it's a good result that Warrington beat KR this week, because I think that's just added to this week, because obviously Hull KR will be smarting from that, given how good they've been this season. I'm sure Willie Peters will have been giving them the rocket this week in terms of you need to give back a bit back to our fans this week and get us back to Wembley. So I was quite pleased with that result, and I'm probably going to upset a few of our Wigan contingent even more now because they'll be saying, "Oh, you don't want Wigan to win because you're a Leigh fan," but it's quite the opposite actually. I want Hull KR to win based on last year and how good their supporters were when we were in the final together. Obviously, with them, I'm surprised they've only won one Challenge Cup. That's really shocked me, that, in terms of that stat you put up. So I know they've been to a few finals and lost. But more importantly, I think we played Hull KR the week before Wembley. And I know last year, Willie Peters rested all his players against Wigan. So it could work out very well for us, that. So I will be 100% cheering the Robins on this weekend for that reason, not because it's Wigan.
Really, Steph?
I just think it's going to be a great game. I mean, I really, really do. I think that, both of these two sides play, let's be fair, really good rugby. When they're on, they're on. When these two are on, they're on.
Two brilliant sides. It's a great semi-final.
Yeah, it is. It's a great, and it's that narrative as well, isn't it? That Hull KR beat them last year in the semi-final. There's that bit of narrative. The fact that KR, let's be fair, they played brilliantly well against Wigan a few weeks ago. They really, really did. So they'll go into this game knowing that they absolutely are in with a shot. But what I would say is that Wigan at 100% is a very tough team to beat. And I think that, the more these players are coming back to fitness, the bench of the Wigan Warriors is just frightening. I mean, we talked about Paddy Mago, Dupree, Lehman, who's added so much off the bench. We talked about that on the Final Whistle podcast. If you haven't listened to that and you're watching this tomorrow morning, go on to Amazon, Spotify, or Apple, whichever one it is, and go and listen to the Final Whistle podcast, where we talk about all the round 11 games, and we talk at length about the impact Cruz Lehman has had on the Wigan Warriors. But, I mean, for me personally, Schofield, he's gone KR. Schofield's gone KR. Greg, where are you going?
Lightning very, very rarely strikes twice.
Easy for you to say.
Has he been on your card?
I'm hunting Wabbit.
Big dastardly.
I'm hunting Wabbit. I'll try that one again. Lightning very rarely strikes twice in rugby league, in cup games. I think, neutrals might want a Wigan Warrington final. But I just get this funny feeling that Hull KR are going to do it again. I really do. I don't think it'd be golden point like Matt's saying. I think Wigan will be going into this confident. Hull KR will be going into this a little bit with the kick at the backside, as Steph says. Wigan may well be overconfident. And yeah, I just get the funny feeling that Hull KR are going to do them again.
Well, I mean,
Really,
we see the one person I hope is wrong is Neil. Neil's gone Warriors 18 plus. I don't want an 18 plus. I want, as a neutral, I want a really good, solid game where we're going into the last 10 minutes and it's jeopardy. That's what we want. This is on the Beeb. We want that. The sport deserves that, and both of these two teams can deliver. I've got to hold you a little bit there, Greg. I don't think the neutrals do want Wigan Warrington. I think they actually want Huddersfield KR.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. So, for example, had we have lost to the Saints and the Saints were playing Huddersfield, as a neutral, I would, like last year, KR against Lee. And what a final they served up. To have different sides. I mean, don't get me wrong, not since 1990 have Wigan played Warrington.
Yeah, we know how that ended up.
And we know how that ended up. So, yeah, do you know what? It is an unusual final, should that be the final. And, of course, the bookies will say that's the favourite. I've already seen Greg in the chat saying that I think Warrington are -6 and Wigan are -10 on the coupon. So every bookie has got that as the favourite. But, 80 minutes of rugby league has got to be played. I mean, the same was said last year, Steph, that it was going to be a Saints-Wigan final. And, hey-ho, we know what happened next, don't we? All I hope is that this is another edge-of-the-seat quality.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. I mean, Andy, you're spot on there in terms of the Rugby Football League. You're right. They do need a Wigan Warrington final. That said, KR will travel in numbers, as they're proving at Doncaster. I mean, Craig Rigby was on the final whistle and he said Wigan are not travelling in the numbers that they should be.
KR would take more than Wigan.
Actually, I think, certainly from a Huddersfield Warrington perspective, if the Rugby Football League had the day, it probably would be Warrington from a numbers perspective. But I'll be honest, I don't think there'd be an awful lot of difference between Wigan and KR, would there, in terms of what they took to Wembley?
No, KR did, brilliantly last year as well. And I think they'll travel there. And I think that's going to be the difference in this semi-final. I think that the KR fans are going to make it a mini. Well, there you go. I think they're going to make it a mini Craven Park at the weekend. And that team responds to those fans. That's why their home form is so good. They have got the buy-in of the supporters, and when they need them, they get behind them. And I think that's going to be the difference. But I do see it being a very tight semi-final again, same as it was at Leeds last year. I don't think it'll be golden point again. I think it'll be. No, I do think it'll be close though. I'm predicting they are 1-8.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm going to go to Warriors. It's hard to bet against Wigan. I mean, it really is because of the roster's so good, and they've just come off the back of a really solid display. And I think Greg's point around French and Field. What was nice to see for the first time in 2024 was the Field-French combination. That ball to fit French for his try from Field. How many times did we see that last year, those two combining? So it is quite ominous. Freddie McGilvray, he's gone in there. He's in the chat. Good evening, Freddie, another Super League Raw member. He's fancying KR by 1-8. Peter Mason, he's going to the wire by 14. We'll come to that in a moment. But yeah, I mean, look, let's hope it's a winner. No surprises. Pete's going Warriors by 8. Craig's going Warriors by 1-8. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. Before we go to the Warrington game, let's take a little look at where the prediction league is up to. And as you can see, Gary Schofield and Joel Scholes are now level on 169. We don't, of course, do it for the Challenge Cup. The predictions will be back. They will be uploaded on Sunday for round number 12. But he had a great week, Joel. Phenomenal week. He's on 169. I'm on 165. 7-point advantage now, Greg. The inward one with you and Steph. And it has to be said, the fans for them this year are having a shocker. They won it 2 years ago. And for whatever reason, this year, they're just not getting it right amongst themselves. Very, very surprising. Right. We are now going to look at the Warrington-Huddersfield semi-final. But before we do, get your question of the week in the chat. That's right. As always, we're going to do a question of the week. Get it in the chat. I'll pick one at the end of the show to answer. So what is the question that you would like us to debate at the end of the show? Make it a good one, or else we won't be doing it. Right, let's get into the Warrington Wolves against Huddersfield. Let's take a look at the road to the semi-final. And it has to be said, actually, that some of Huddersfield's better performances this season have been in the Challenge Cup. A brilliant 50-6 win over Hull FC. And who would have thought they'd have gone down to the south of France and turned over the Catalan Dragons by 34-6? That said, Warrington also have had two very impressive wins. 42-0 over the London Broncos, probably expected, but nobody would have expected them to go to the former World Club champions and former grand final winners, the Saints, and beat them by 31 points to 8 and beat them soundly like they did. So there's no doubt these two teams in great form in the Challenge Cup. Let's take a look at the head-to-head and look at this. The wins in the Challenge Cup, 12 for the Wire, 2 for the Huddersfield Giants. But guys, do you know your history? Because those two wins for the Huddersfield Giants were against the Warrington Wolves in 1913. They beat them 9-5 at Headingley, and in 1933 they beat the Wire 21-17 at Headingley. Of course, the Wire beat Huddersfield in the 2009 Challenge Cup final 18-10. 2 apiece on neutral ground. 9 plays 6. A bit tighter this than the Wigan Warrington game. And again, we've combined the Super League and the Challenge Cup in terms of the attack and the defence. 359 plays 324. The 2 Huddersfield games in the Challenge Cup really helping them there. But one thing you've got to say about the Sam Burgess Warrington Wolves, they have been very much better in defence this year. They're up there, the punching with the likes of Saints and Wigan in terms of their goal line D. 1-5-1 plays 2-4-1. The bookies have it as a Warrington Wolves win. We know that Huddersfield have the quality. Masters has not got a ban. Watson was really concerned about that. He hasn't been banned. They've got Adam Swift is 50-50. Murch is 50-50. Chris Hill, they're saying he's 50-50. I just don't see how he can bring Chris Hill back from injury in a game of this magnitude. I really don't. I'd be amazed if Chris Hill, I think that could be a big mistake. If Ian Watson was to put Chris Hill in, having not played rugby throughout this season, in perhaps let's be fair, their best chance of silverware in 2024, I just think that'd be crazy. I'll come to you last, Greg. Steph, all of what I just said, over to you.
Yeah, I think our friend Huddersfield friends will be thanking the lucky stars this is at a neutral venue and not at the John Smiths, because if it was the John Smiths, I'd probably be back in Warrington to put 40 on them based on their form there this season. Well, I don't think they've won since August there, have they? But with it being a neutral venue, I think Huddersfield on the road have been really good this year. So I think that'll probably play to their advantage in this one. And if you can't get up for a semi-final, Huddersfield, we all know, have got the quality of players to really give Warrington a game here. So it's going to be another fantastic semi-final, and I see it being another close one as well. But I do think that Warrington have probably got the edge on them at the moment. Like I've said numerous times on Raw and on the podcasts, they're slowly building the consistency Warrington. And I just think that Sam Burgess has got that big game experience to instill on some of the younger Warrington players. And I think that'll motivate them to just get over the line on this one. But I do think there's a chance Huddersfield could win as well. I think it is going to be a very close game. But I am just tipping Warrington. Again, I'm going to go 1-8. So another close semi-final.
And again, Greg, in the same spirit of what I've said over Chris Hill, reports out of Warrington that Conor Wrench will be given every chance to play. Again, I just don't see that. I don't see how you can bring Conor Wrench back in a semi-final. If it was a Super League game, yeah, okay. But I'll tell you now, if Conor Wrench does come back, it just goes to show how much Sam Burgess admires Conor Wrench as a rugby league player.
Yeah. I don't think he will. I think Ty has done enough in the last couple of games. Solid defense. His defense has improved 100%. I think I said in the quiz last night when we were discussing this, or before the quiz kicked off, that this worries me, this game, because Warrington have a habit of beating the teams they shouldn't beat in semi-finals and then losing to teams they should beat in semi-finals. And that's no disrespect to Huddersfield. We went to Headingley. We should have beat Hull KR a few years ago when we got beat. Same against Hull at Huddersfield. We should have beat Hull under Tony Smith, and we got beat. We lost a lot of semi-finals in that run between 2009 and 2017. We lost a lot of semi-finals. And this one worries me. It really does worry me. Warrington should win. On form, at least. Huddersfield haven't had the best of form. Warrington have been playing all right, but it worries me, and I am. Oh,
You've got to. You've got to do it. No, do it. You can't do anything else. Come on.
Warrington.
Oh no! Greg Roach is punching the air.
Are going to lose to Huddersfield.
Greg Roach has just suddenly turned off his PC.
Well, I'll get my Warrington Wolves dance ready on WhatsApp.
I have to, don't I?
You have to. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. But then say David Pye's in the chat.
Generally, I can see Huddersfield causing upset because, as I said,
if they turn it on, they turn it on, mate. Huddersfield have got they have got it. I mean, they've got the quality.
Yeah.
There's no.
I'm not going to be allowed in the Body Langford Stadium on Sunday.
But I think the interesting thing, though, here is we haven't had a measure, have we, of Huddersfield Warrington this year? We've seen KR up against Wigan, but we haven't seen Warrington against Huddersfield yet. They don't play Huddersfield for. I mean, it's madness, isn't it? Warrington are going to have played Catalan 3 times before they take on Huddersfield at the Halliwell Jones on July the 5th. Unbelievable! It's unbelievable. But there you go.
That's why we need a 14-team Super League to get
Greg Roach. Greg Roach is throwing up, mate. He's absolutely devastated by your prediction there.
Can I be perfectly honest?
Well,
I think it's going to be a Warrington Hull KR final.
Wow,
that's me. That's me not playing to the gallery. I think it's going to be a Warrington Hull KR final.
I'm with you, Reggie. So, but based on the prediction league, I think the Wigan and Huddersfield fans are rejoicing on that one.
yeah, but you say that. I mean, Schofield's gone KR wire.
Saying that though, I did get the winner. Every team this week, I got the winner.
You did. Actually, it's a good shout. You did. You might have only got 2 points for each one, but you were perfect, mate. You were spot on there. Nice to see that you're checking my results that I'm not doing you, mate. Hey, good lad. Well done. But no, look, all I will hope and pray for is that, look, it's the Challenge Cup. I say this every time the Challenge Cups come round. It's one of the most special competitions in the world of sport. It's what makes rugby league fantastic. This is what other podcasts talk it down. The Challenge Cup is dead. It's only dead if we as the fans stop believing in it. And this is a fantastic competition. We've all got memories of going down to Wembley, whether you were there to support your own team or whether you're there as a rugby league family member. That's what it's all about. Roll on Wembley. Some people have been saying in the chat, are we going to Wembley? Super League Raw are going to Wembley. Don't you worry about that. And 2 people are going to win Challenge Cup final tickets off the back of Super League Raw. We may even have a little meeting under the statue prior to the game to have a little bit of a chat and take a few photos. So you want to be there. You want to be a part of it. Right. There's 83 people watching this and we have not got 83 members yet. That tells me that you are loving what we're doing, folks. We need your support. There it is in the top corner. You need to do the QR code. You need to become a part of the membership. You've got people in the chat who are members willing you on, especially you, Matty Sale. Don't you? Not you, right? Boys, we do, don't we, though, Steph? I mean, you say it all the time. Less than a latte. We serve up a great product.
Oh, well,
yeah.
I think when you look at other coverage of Super League, the amount of work that goes into this, Dave, the quality, it's not just three blokes talking all the time. It's it's actual stats, it's actual proper graphics and everything like that. And to get that even better, I know your ambition is to grow it even more than what it gives now. So we need people to support it to make that happen. And £2-3 a month is nothing, is it?
No, Greg?
No, I agree. Get signed up. Get signed up. We big up rugby league, as you say. We love the sport.
We do, passionate
We're
about it.
We're not like Sky Sports and BBC who talk it down constantly and say the product isn't what it was. The product is brilliant.
Mm.
Get behind it. Let's grow the community.
Carl, you don't need to be a dinosaur. Carl, all you need to do is go into the internet, www.patreon.com/Super League Raw. The rest is self-explanatory. Simple as that. Steve Cartledge, still on the bandwagon. Matty, get a grip. Get signed up to Super League Raw.
Can I just shout out John Wilkinson, who's saying the women's semi-finals as well.
Spot on.
Played for the men's. As a big advocate of the women's game, come on. The women's product is superb. Honestly, it is an absolutely fantastic product, the womenn's game. Get behind it, support it, please. Absolutely. They need your support. Come on. Let's get in there.
Completely agree. Some great fixtures coming up. We're getting to the business end of the Challenge Cup. Some great fixtures on the horizon. Right, guys, get your questions in the chat. We are going to, I think at the minute we've got one. So if you want to rival that one that we've got, get your question in the chat. Whatever it may be, get it in there. We'll debate it for a couple of minutes before we
Can you get one in there that we can answer, please?
Absolutely. But before we do, the time has come. I announced this 4, 6, 7 weeks ago on Weekly, and both Steph and Greg nearly fell off the chair. It just goes to show how far Super League Raw has come. You join the membership, I give it back in terms of prizes. This is the first tickets we've given away of 2024. More will be on the way. We've already given away a towel, a Huddersfield Giants towel to a quiz night winner last night. We've given away a signed rugby ball for Hull KR. We've given away 2 £25 vouchers for club shops. We've given away 2 hampers for Easter to 2 of our fans. It just keeps coming. We're going to be giving a season ticket away. We're going to give him
Kevin Sinfield's book.
Kevin Sinfield's book went to Craig Roach last night with 2 extra chapters.
Signed by your good self, David.
I will be signing it and putting a note in for Greg. So like I say, loads of prizes coming the way of Super League Raw, but you've got to be in it to win it. And every single one of... they're all going in. They're all going in. Come on. Best group of rugby league fans. You're absolutely spot on there, Craig. I'll read it out for the people who are listening to the podcast. Best group of rugby league fans, 100% sign up. The WhatsApp group. I mean, for those of you who are listening, for those of you who are watching, we have got members now that are meeting up before a game from rival teams for a chat and for a pint. We've got members that are actually letting other members stay over in their houses on the day that their teams are playing. We've got members, Mr. Sale, doing barbecues. We've got loads of stuff going on. You want to be a part of this community. It's a celebration of rugby league. You're not just joining a membership and getting the opportunity of more content and getting these prizes. You're joining a family of like-minded rugby league fans who want to chat, who want to be a part of the community. Get involved. Right, I think we've plugged that enough for tonight. It is now time, gentlemen. The time has come. The time has come to give away 2 Challenge Cup final tickets. Boys, I'm sure you're going to wish everybody well.
Yes.
Oh, good luck, everyone.
And to our Matthew, you're not invited because you're not invited to the barbecue because you're not a member.
Absolutely, yeah. Matty Sale and David as well. No chance. Never in a million years. You're not coming to a barbecue. If you do, I'll make sure you get the worst burnt sausage. Don't you worry about that. Right, here we go. It's time. On that note, it's now time to give away some Challenge Cup tickets. So we're going to move over to our Wheel of Fortune. Good luck, everybody. Here we go. Oh, here we go. I can imagine everybody's quite tense now. 2 free Challenge Cup tickets up for grabs, courtesy of Super League Raw. As you can see, all your names are in there as per your membership agreement. We're going to shuffle them up. Which one of you is going to Wembley, courtesy of Super League Raw? I think that's a good shuffle. Let's get it hidden. The very best of luck to everyone. Here we go. fan to boot. You are on your way to Wembley. Many congratulations. Thank you for being a great member here at Super League Raw. The tickets will be on their way to you in the next couple of days. There you go. Well done to Lee Partington. Great stuff. And he's actually been in the chat before the draw and said he loves being a member, friendly banter and good solid debates. And there you go. He's just won 2 tickets to the Challenge Cup final, courtesy of Super League Raw. Lee, many, many congratulations.
We might even throw a Hulk AR shirt in there for you especially.
I'm gutted Craig's not won that, to be honest with you. Because,
but to be fair to Craig, Craig's gone in and congratulated Lee. And you know what? It was, I have to say, lovely that actually one of the members whose teams he's still in the comp at this point has won that. That's marvellous. So, I mean, he might not be come Saturday. But anyway, at the moment, Lee is in there. Freddie McGilvey, all of the members wishing Lee nothing but love and respect. Fantastic stuff. More tickets will be coming down the line this year. There's 83 of you still watching. This is what being a part of this community is all about. Winning prizes, being a part of a great community, and you get to come to the quiz for free. Wonderful stuff. The quiz is back, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, on June the 17th. June the 17th. That'll be uploaded a lot earlier this time. Tickets will be going on sale in the next week. Plenty of time to book your tickets for that. If you're a member, it's free. If you're a non-member, £3.40. As Steph says, what else are you going to do on a Monday night for £3.40? Bit of rugby league knowledge, and then the opportunity to maybe win some really nice prizes as well. So there you go. Peter Mason, congratulating Lee. They're all getting in. Over to you, Steph.
Yeah. Can we just say to Lee? Sorry, Steph. Can we just say to Lee, your tickets in the Warrington end, mate?
They're not actually. They're actually in the main stand. So is where they are. So
right.
yeah.
I was just saying, class from our fellow Hulk AR fan Dawn to say she'll lend Lee a Hulk AR shirt.
Absolutely. The least you can do. Least you can do. But no, really, really well done. Delighted for Lee. Congratulations. More member exclusive prizes on the way. We will do other prizes as well that will include everybody, but more member exclusive prizes on the way. Chaps, what a great night of chat. Wonderful to end on such a high note for Lee Partington. Outstanding stuff. We will be back. Right, this is what you've got to look forward to. Tomorrow, you have got the Liam Marshall in conversation, 8 p.m. on YouTube. If you want to watch it, if you want to listen to it, you can download it from 8 p.m. Maybe listen to it on Thursday on the way to work. The news update will be back on Thursday, building up to the Challenge Cup semi-finals. You don't want to miss that. No game of the week, because of course there's 2, but we will be covering both games as part of the news this coming week, of course. In the sheds, we don't do Challenge Cup, unfortunately, but you never know. I might surprise you. Let's just wait and see on that one. You never, ever know, do you? And of course, the Final Whistle podcast, we don't normally do them for the Challenge Cup, but of course, we did it for the quarterfinal. We'll do it for the semi-final. The Final Whistle podcast will be recorded as normal on Sunday, post the game.
If Warrington have won, Dave, I might not be in any fit state.
Maybe not. But Warwick, we will be there. You'll be there. You're yeah, I'll be there. So we'll be doing the Final Whistle. You'll be able to get that next week, the semi-final. And of course, as always, ladies and gentlemen, I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's not the same without you. This time next week, 8 p.m, Super League Raw Weekly returns, and you make it what it is. Greg, over to you.
We forgot the question.
We have. Let's do that very, very quickly. Right. Has anybody asked one other than the one?
Several dropping in.
Are they right? Okay, my apologies. So let's get into this. Here we go. Right. Oh, Steve Carley's. That's a bit cheeky, Steve. Who will England play this autumn? Well, we know that that's going to be France. No, actually, no, it's autumn. Sorry. It's supposed to be Tonga, isn't it? Samoa. Yeah, Samoa's coming back for that. Becca Thompson was good. She didn't make the quiz. We missed you, Becca. We really did. Am I invited to the barbecue? Matty Sale saying, absolutely not, Matty. Absolutely not. No chance at all. Let me tell you now, if you do come, those things on the barbecue won't be sausages. That's all I'm going to say. You don't want to be eating them in a Stiffmeister kind of way from the American Pie wedding. Just putting it out there for you.
That's like Saley's sausage. It's enough of that.
Right, there was a question in there. I'm going to go with this, and do you know what? Fair play. They're going back to the guys that I said I couldn't read the comments out because of a little bit of language, but they did ask a question over the TV.
Yeah, I saw that one.
And to be fair, it's a good question, so we'll go with that. Steph, are it would appear that from August, Sky are going to be putting the other 4 games on to a streaming platform as opposed to on the main channels. It is free as part of a subscription. It's still a part of it. And, from an enthusiast point of view, as long as Sky pick the right games, I've got no issue with that. For example, this weekend, why would you pick Saints Castleford? As good as Castleford were playing, you'd pick a closer game. So as long as Sky pick the right 2 games, I've no real issue. Because as an enthusiast, I'll go and watch the other 4 on the streaming platform. Yeah. The one that's really annoyed me this year is the BBC.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think we've had exactly the opposite of what Channel 4 brought to it last year. So where they brought enthusiasm, some great punditry, great pre-match build-up. I thought the Lee Salford game was on BBC, and I actually watched it back on the BBC one just to see how good it was. And I was so disappointed with the standard of the production and the quality. It was like it was just we'll see a completely opposite BBC production for the Challenge Cup. So that's the difference in the two. I do believe the future is the streaming platform. I think it opens it up to the world we live in today. And also it's all kept within Sky if you have got a Sky subscription as well. So it's nice and easy. So I do think they have got that right. And I do think that's the direction that the sport needs to go in terms of a streaming service.
Yeah, Greg?
Yeah, I think we were sold a bit of a pup, weren't we? Especially by the BBC. The BBC, okay, they showed one on BBC Two. I'm happy with BBC Two. Then one on the iPlayer. I think BBC, their coverage simply isn't as good as Channel 4's last year and the year before.
And it's not advertised, Reggie. It's not advertised. That's the thing.
No, it isn't. It isn't. And then, there's been such a big break between the games that the BBC have shown, from Super League especially. I would have loved for Channel 4 to take over the whole shooting match.
Yeah.
And to have had, I think we could even have lived with Channel 4 showing 2 games a week and build it from there rather than every game. But we have to be grateful for what we've got. We've gone since the inception of Super League, 1 or 2 games or 3 at the most games a week. We now have every game being shown on some channel. So I think we have to be grateful, no matter what the platform is, that we are having games shown.
Yeah,
if I'm being perfectly honest.
The biggest thing for me is that we can watch every game. That's just to be able to watch every single game now, because from a selfish point of view of producing this show as well, not from a marriage perspective, but from a producing this show, it's fantastic, isn't it? That we can actually watch full games now, and I think that's where the streaming thing comes in, and it's like where you can go on the NRL app and watch all the NRL games, kind of thing, and that's the way it's going to go, because streaming is the future, whether we like it or not.
Yeah. And the only problem is that is if you're at a game, can you record that stream and then watch it back when you get back from the game?
Well, I think my understanding is, mate, from the stream, it will be the full game that you can watch back. That's my understanding.
Yeah. Well, as long as you can watch it back, that's great, because there's nothing better than getting back from the game, watching your game back again, and then watching another game.
Just stop showing the scores on Sky.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. And let's hope that at some point it's one after the other, like the NRL. Neil Venix, yes, they have took all the commentators and the punditry. I agree with that. But bottom line is they did sell us the dream. Samoa, Neil, as well. I think money will talk on that. I think, the fact that the international fixtures were set in stone, if Samoa back out year one, it just, again, sends international rugby league into a downward spiral. I think they're compelled to come across next season is what I would say on that one. So look, again, great feature. We'll try and answer as many as we can every single week. We'll always end the show with a question or two. To make it easy for me finding them, always put it in the latter end so that I can find them quite quickly. But look, another an hour and 40 minutes has gone, well, nearly 50 has flown by. And the fact that we've retained 69 people, those 69 people are clearly as enthusiastic about rugby league as we are. There's only one place to be, guys. and that's Super League Raw. You need to become a member. Gentlemen, as always, I'm indebted to your time. Thank you very much indeed for coming along this week. Congratulations again, one final time, to Lee Partington. I will be in touch. I'll get your tickets over to you. Well done to you.
Well done.
Gentlemen, we'll be back next week, 8 p.m. Can't beat a bit of weekly. We're going to go out with the top performers of the Super League campaign thus far. Enjoy more great content. We're trying to make this a 7-day operation for you. Enjoy Rugby League. Enjoy the semi-finals, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week, guys.
Good luck, guys.
Are your top performers after 11 rounds of the Betfred Super League. We have a new top try scorer after his incredible hat-trick. It's Liam Marshall of the Wigan Warriors with 12. The top try assister now out on his own is Johnny Lomax of St Helens with 13. Still leading the most meters in Super League is Matt Duffy of the Warrington Wolves with 2,061. The top tackle buster in Super League is still Tim Lafay with 89. The most clean breaks have come from Ennis Senior and Matt Duffy, both with 13. The most offloads in Super League have been made by Nene McDonald and Hakeem Maloudi with 23. The most hard meters made, you've got to be a prop forward, second row loose forward in this one. It's still Paul Vaughan of the Warrington Wolves with 1,210. The most tackles that have been made have come from Cameron Smith of the Leeds Rhinos with 435. And still leading the goal-kicking charts is Mark Sneed of the Salford Red Devils with 38. These are the top performers in the Betfred Super League.